We needed a break.
Doesn't that look great?
Man, we
Boy,
needed
it's a lot different than
it.
what we saw last week. Man, alive is right.
Yeah.
A break is right.
Live shot right now downtown. We've got a few clouds building in, some sunshine this afternoon.
But overall,
dry
a pretty
conditions.
gorgeous late summer day.
Yeah.
And for the first time in 6 days, Alyssa, we can say
Rain
no rain.
Rain free.
No rain today.
Yeah, we
Wasn't
needed
that
the break.
nice? Oh, we did. Yeah.
Welcome to the Forecasters. I'm Alyssa Donovan. Bill Snyder here.
Yep.
Lots to talk about yet again.
Of course. Don't we always, right? Never a
Yeah.
shortage of topics.
Yeah. Let's get to the forecast right now. So we are seeing some sunshine coming through the clouds. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That's
This
right
is a
outside
great
our
shot.
right outside our northwest side
Yeah.
studio. A few high clouds mixed in, but there's the sun. And just within the last hour, we had reached our high temperature, Alyssa. Isn't that something? Now it's dropped a couple degrees, but who's complaining about 79 degrees?
I like the 70s. That's a sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
What I also liked about today, lower humidity.
Oh, for sure. Compared to yesterday. Yesterday was very
Yeah.
muggy. We had dew points in the 70s. Look at how much that's a noticeable drop in humidities. And of course, that's a measure of comfort when you walk outside.
Yeah.
And we're talking about upper 50s to around 60. That is very
Cozy.
tolerable for this time of the year.
Cozy. We
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
As we head through the evening, we're sort of seeing this little lake breeze that's built throughout
Yep.
the afternoon. Still going to see a northerly flow in place. That's led to a few high-level clouds near the lake.
Right.
But now those are going to clear out overnight. We're going to see some dry, quiet conditions tonight.
Yeah.
Humidity will be on the rise, though.
It will.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just for a day.
Just for a day.
Yeah, just for a day to kind of help, increase our shower and thunderstorm prospects. We'll see. We'll show you that in a minute. But not bad. 79 O'Hare, 84 at Elburn and Naperville, and 73 right on the lake in
Stayed a little
Wilmette.
crisp near the lakefront
But
today.
not bad though. But look at this.
I wanted to talk about this. So
Wow.
this is for our area.
Yes.
Sunday to yesterday. So Sunday to Sunday.
Right.
This is our heaviest rainfall totals that we saw last week.
Amazing.
By far, Grand Ridge in LaSalle County.
Yep.
9.5 inches
Wow.
of rainfall.
Stunning.
So here are our highest totals, but a little further south,
Look at
central
this.
Illinois, central Indiana.
And even into Ohio, portions of Ohio, they have just been walloped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Is that the right? No, I
Oh,
think,
did I use the wrong one?
you know what? That is
Maybe it
the
didn't
wrong
update.
one. It
But
might, yeah.
if this was the right one, it would show totals of
More
more
of a
than a foot.
They did have more than a foot of rain down there, and you could see it on the Doppler here.
Sorry about that. That
No,
was
that's
user error.
No worries. It's okay, but this tells the story here.
So,
you see
yeah.
those darker shades there, the magentas and so forth. That is the area that was just clobbered over the weekend. They had flood emergencies and rescues, and we're talking about areas that saw in less than a week's time probably the equivalent of 3 to 4 Augusts worth of rain, and there's no way of absorbing that kind of.
And we saw a lot of the video coming out of Northwest Indiana, a lot of
We did,
flooding.
yeah.
The good news is we have a little break happening right now.
Yep.
Tomorrow we do have a chance of some showers in the forecast, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms by the late afternoon and evening, but we're starting with dry conditions.
Yeah, nice day.
Most
Mix
of
of
the
sun and
first
clouds.
half of the day
right.
is looking
But you
good.
can see those cloud percentages come up as we go through the afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
So that's indicative of the next chance of rain. And there's our severe outlook, which a greater risk out to the west of us. So that's good news.
We don't have a ton of confidence in tomorrow's activity, to be
No,
honest.
no.
But we know we have the chance.
Right.
But to be completely honest, a lot of it looks like it's going to taper off a little bit. We still have the chance in there.
Sure.
Of seeing some
But
activity.
luckily, nothing like last Tuesday, Alyssa.
Nothing like last
Oh,
Tuesday.
thank goodness. But
Excessive rainfall outlook does have us under that slight risk, though,
Right.
for tomorrow. And that's really probably the bigger factor if we do see some of those thunderstorms develop, is going to be that potential
for heavy
of some
rain, just
heavy
because we're
rain.
going to increase the humidity, we'll bring those dew points back up in around the 70-degree range, which is certainly enough moisture for any shower or storm that does develop to tap into some of that moisture. So that's
So 60s tonight,
perfect.
mostly clear skies.
Yep.
That mugginess is going to build a little bit.
Right.
It's going to be more humid tomorrow. Some sunshine in the morning, clouds by the afternoon, shower thunderstorm chance by the late afternoon and evening.
Yeah. So that's, we had a one-day break.
We had a one-day break.
But look, the good news is, and we'll of course talk about this as we, proceed through the show, is nowhere near the storminess that we had last
Yeah.
week. We're not expecting that this week, so that's good news.
And you know who really needed the break was Northwest Indiana.
Oh, for sure.
They've been dealing with, of course, power outages for several days.
Yeah.
So this little break we're seeing today and the first half of tomorrow, giving people a break where they can start and continue that storm cleanup. By now, 6 days after our last round of severe weather, tens of thousands of power customers across Northwest Indiana are still managing on backup electricity. This has been a long time for them.
Yeah.
And here's WGN's Angelica Sanchez with more on that.
Nearly a week since last Tuesday's deadly storms caused a record power outage. Thousands are still waiting for power to be fully restored. Many starting their week getting more fuel for their generators.
Well, I look around the neighborhood and I consider myself lucky. And there's a lot of my neighbors that got it a lot worse than I did. So, you know, we're taking it day by day.
The widespread damage still lingers throughout Indiana communities. A drive through one Hobart neighborhood shows dozens of downed trees and what's left of a vehicle crushed by debris. Through all the stress, neighbors say people are finding ways to lend a hand.
We're all trying to help each other out, you know, just mainly debris and maybe gas runs and getting sandwiches for each other, you know, so doing the best we can do.
As of 7 a.m. Monday, power company NIPSCO says of the original 301,000 affected customers, they have restored power to 75% of them. Still, 76,000 customers remain without power.
It was rough. Good thing we had a generator. That helped. A lot of my friends didn't have generators, so I did what I could to help some people, but not much you can do when you're, you know, trying to take care of yourself even, so. It was rough for a lot of people. I have a lot of friends and family that are out of power still.
New estimates from NIPSCO show when certain municipalities can expect their power to be fully restored. Waves of repairs are estimated to be completed by midnight Tuesday, 5 p.m. Wednesday, and midnight Wednesday. NIPSCO says all remaining customers originally impacted by last week's outage are estimated to have power fully restored by midnight Friday.
Hopefully sooner, but we'll see how it goes. Start to see NIPSCO trucks around, so that's a good thing.
Elsewhere in Indiana, they're still dealing with a historic 100-year flood event hitting several counties. The damage and devastation is intense. Roads and bridges have been seriously damaged or washed out entirely, and initial estimates have up to 1,000 structures destroyed.
It has been a challenging week for so many communities across central and southeastern Indiana, and as we learn of a 7th fatality, emergency officials are urging others to use caution. From Cambridge City to Connorsville, where floodwaters were so high it submerged semis and stole from people the places they've called home.
I'm overwhelmed and I'm upset because, you know, no flood insurance here. So I don't know how, you know, this is all gonna pan out.
It just crushed me. My kids' house is gone. I mean, it's not really gone, but all the stuff in it is.
The historic flooding turned creeks and rivers into wrecking balls, and it seemed like no matter the community in Indiana, we heard a similar refrain.
And when I first came over here, the devastation was just, I've never seen anything like it.
This right here, literally, it's just been absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's been, I've never seen it this bad.
In Anderson, the White River crested Friday at 24 feet, breaking a 113-year-old record that prompted water rescues of dozens of homes and damaged businesses.
I'm just so sad. What are they going to do? You know what I mean? The house underwater over here. A couple of them, actually. You know? Some of the saddest stuff I've ever seen.
And in what became a domino effect downstream, closer to Indianapolis, the swollen White River caused even more damage, washing out roads and leading emergency officials to warn others to proceed with caution. We also learned of a 7th fatality, a bicyclist believed to have ridden past a road barrier and fallen in a hole of a washed-out road near Newcastle. As the state begins to dry out, there were reminders from emergency officials.
This is a marathon and not a sprint. The rain has stopped, the river is receding, but the recovery is a long process.
And Governor Mike Braun acknowledged that the state will be there. He also confirmed over the weekend that President Trump will sign an emergency declaration to proceed with federal assistance. We have also heard countless stories about community organizations, nonprofits, and faith-based groups helping out flood victims. In Chicago, Bennett Haberly, News Nation.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible what we're seeing out of Indianapolis
It really
area.
is. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of puts it all in perspective.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Let's go to BJ Camp because
We
BJ
got to
has-
bring in. There he is.
Hello, our
Happy
guy.
Monday, BJ. The
Happy
Silver
Monday.
Fox. How was your weekend?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty nice weekend. Made
That's good.
Made the most of yesterday. It was pretty nice.
All right.
Now you have a poll that's sort of related to all this flooding we're
It's a
seeing.
good
I
one.
do. And again,
Yes.
this is not a trivia question. This one's kind of just a gut check.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe the last story reminded you that, hey, maybe you got to get on this.
Yes.
Question today. Do you maintain flood insurance? 3 options for you. No, I'm confident I don't need it. Maybe you're like me and you live on the 4th floor of a
Yeah.
of a fourth
Yes.
floor walk up.
Yeah.
No, and I should probably get it. Or yeah, I'm already covered. Again, not a trivia question. Just want to get a
Yeah,
gut check on the
right.
audience today. Go to WGNTV.com/theforecasters, or you see that code on the right side of your screen. You can scan that with your camera, and we will take you right to where you need to go.
That's an interesting one. I like that, BJ.
We'll check back on how the audience is faring a little bit later
Yeah.
in the show.
All right,
a good one.
now we're going to talk mosquitoes.
Of
and Bill,
course.
you said they've been bugging you.
They have.
They've been bugging.
Bugging, yes. And I mean, with all this rainfall and humidity and moisture in the ground, there's no question
So many skeeps.
they're biting.
Yeah. And Chicago health officials sprayed for mosquitoes in parts of Beverly, Morgan Park, and Washington Heights. It followed an increase in mosquitoes testing positive for West Nile virus. Crews sprayed from Halstead to Western and 99th to 111th. The city used an EPA-approved insecticide that officials say is not harmful to people or pets. Chicago is currently at high risk for West Nile, but no human cases have been reported this year.
Wow.
Some 200 workers are on strike today against Cook County's Forest Preserve District. They are members of Teamsters Local 700, and they are truck drivers, laborers, and mechanics who keep the preserves open. They say the district has refused to close a pay gap. That leaves them earning less than workers doing similar jobs elsewhere in the county, and the state. Members rejected the district's most recent contract offer. Let's go to Lala.
Oh, we're going to go to Lala. This was quite a storm, Melissa. Yeah, Tropical Storm Lala has moved away from the Hawaiian Islands. It was a Category 1 hurricane over the weekend as it moved by the islands without making landfall. On the Big Island, strong winds damaged homes and knocked out power to thousands of people, including our very own Tom Skilling's place out there. He reported on that. Heavy rain has also caused dangerous flash flooding. One person was killed in a crash as floodwaters swept across roads and bridges. At least 100 homes were damaged or swept off their foundations. More than 150,000 people are without power. The more populated island of Oahu fared better. Stephen Florino, with our station there, filed this report. Check it out.
Before dawn breaks over Oahu, the damage from Lala could start to be seen. Huge puddles forced Honolulu police to close some areas on the H1 and power out in many places. But for the most part, officials feel the island made it through relatively safe.
This was a very strong wind event. Yes, we had rain, we had water, not much flooding, a couple places, but for the most part, we were really blessed that we didn't really deal with that much of an issue.
The Honolulu Fire Department says it responded to 629 calls between 7 o'clock Saturday morning through 9:30 Sunday morning. Most of them downed trees. 147 calls total, which could be seen all over the island, from Kalanianaole Highway to the Convention Center to Kapiolani Park and to Mililani. Many streets there covered with trees and debris.
Yeah, the house is good and our neighbor's house is good. Just the fence mostly, and then a little bit on our awning area, but nothing bad, nothing to the house. We got kind of lucky.
We also found several trees that fell on cars. Crews were cutting down this massive tree on the corner of Kuahelani and Kamehameha Highway in Mililani. A couple cars smashed at a dealership in town, and there was another in Waikiki near the zoo. HFD says in those 26 hours, they also responded to 3 building fires. You can see the smoke coming out from one in Kahala. They also said there were 66 calls for blown roofs, 29 down power lines, and 16 water evacuations. Blangiardi says the city's first responders were ready.
This was an island-wide wind event. We had to prepare ourselves for almost anybody, anywhere. And that's kind of the sense of responsibility you have with it. So yes, there are certain districts you want to maybe perhaps be a little bit more sensitive to, but in order to do the best job possible, it's an all hands on deck. Anything can happen anywhere at any time.
Stephen Florino, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
One more video to show you. This is the Rainbow Falls in Hilo. The normally picturesque falls were turned into a raging cascade. Look at that. Wow. I mean, they're expecting, it's the rainy side of the island, but wow, that is really...
That is
extraordinary.
insane.
It really is. That's amazing.
Wow. It's like the waters are going as high as the waterfall itself.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Unbelievable.
It really is.
Oh my
Man.
gosh. If that
Yeah.
doesn't show you how much rain they've received, I feel like nothing will.
That's for sure.
We have also from another location, this is Colorado. But oh my gosh. This is what you guys were talking about?
Yeah.
I didn't
It looks
see the
like
video.
winter.
Okay, so
Look at
this
that.
is some incredible images coming out of Colorado where weekend storms dumped massive amounts of hail. No joke, BJ. When I was looking at this, I was like, why are you showing more flooding?
Yeah. No.
That is crazy.
That is hail, and they brought out the snowplow trucks.
I mean, you
Look at
need
this. There it is. Look at this. I mean, it almost looks like it's not real. I mean, it is just amazing.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that had to do some damage to.
I'm sure. It's
to,
probably heavy.
Yeah.
There's a car stuck in there, you guys.
Yeah. Look at that car. Oh boy.
I hope no one's in there.
Yeah. Not
Oh
somewhere
my
where you want to be.
gosh.
No, that's not where you want to be.
Okay.
I think. Are we going to Italy? We are going
We're
to go
going to Italy.
Why not? Let's go to Italy. On Sicily's Mount Etna, an American hiker is dead after being struck by lightning. Authorities said rescuers found the 29-year-old man from Kansas in serious condition Sunday. Firefighters flew him to the nearest hospital by helicopter, where he died from his injuries. Officials say the hiker had been alone in an area that was closed to the public due to ongoing volcanic activity. Heavy ash pouring from the volcano also forced the nearby Catania airport to close most of last week. Oh, I hate to see that. That's tragic.
In Indonesia, there was an earthquake, and the search for earthquake victims continues. 55 people were killed and thousands displaced by Saturday's 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Thousands are still waiting for aid in Flores, one of Indonesia's islands that was hit the hardest. Aftershocks and logistical challenges have slowed deliveries. During an Independence Day ceremony in Jakarta, Indonesia's president asked for prayers for those affected. How scary.
Oh, it's terrible. Really bad. Well, I think we're going to head to a break. BJ, do we have anything to show for the challenge, or did we need to show that again? Everybody's checking.
Happy to show it again.
Let's
yeah,
show it again.
Just a gut check for our forecasters question viewers out there. Do you maintain flood insurance on your home? 3 options for you. No, I'm confident I don't need it. No, and I probably should get it. And this was your reminder. Or yeah, I'm already covered. Hey, we also have a new We Bet on Weather forecast challenge. That's coming up on the other side.
Yes.
So we'll be back in about 2.5. Stay with us.
Don't go anywhere.
It's your favorite part of the show.
It is. And you know what, Alyssa?
What?
I was going through withdrawal last week, and I think probably
poor
our viewers
Bill.
may have been too. You know, I mean, when you're a degenerate gambler with weather, when it comes to betting on weather, like I am, and Demetrius too,
it's really tough for you
to not
guys.
have a week off, which is what we did last week. But
How
guess
did you
what?
manage?
I found a way.
Oh my
I think the weather kept
I
me
feel
busy.
So bad for you. Ooh,
Well, guess what? Guess what? It is back.
Woo!
It is back this week. James Papastar decided he picked our location because he was our last winner. And we are heading to Mexico, but not the country Mexico. We are going to Mexico, Missouri.
Okay, you fooled me, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't read the last line.
So
of that.
anyway, we would want you to submit a prediction. We decided to change it up just a little bit. The prediction for the temperature in Mexico, Missouri at 10 a.m. Friday. So, you know, that's a period of the day where, you know, your temperatures are typically on the rise. You know, the morning low will have occurred 4 to 5 hours ago earlier, and then you're on the rise until about 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. So give us your 10 a.m. prediction, and if you are fortunate enough to win, guess what? You get to pick next week's challenge. So
Yeah.
that is it for next week. So that's pretty
for
cool.
Whoever picked, what was it, James?
James, Papa Star.
James.
James,
You
way to go.
silly guy.
Way to go. Mexico, Missouri it is.
Mexico,
So
Missouri.
how about some pictures?
Let's talk about it. This is from Len Heflin. He
Yeah.
shares some of the damage that was in Bloomington Normal in the area in the wake of severe storms
last week. Yeah.
Last week.
That
We
was
saw
something.
a lot of this. This
Yeah,
is
we
also
did. This
from
was a
Len.
second shot from Len. Yeah, he was. He noted when he sent these along that he was taking his daughter to college, and so down at Illinois State, and couldn't get over all the damage and flooding down there. Wow.
Ken Juranek captured a beautiful close-up. Bill, you know I love these.
Yes, you do.
I need a little wildlife
I
in
know.
my life.
Yes, you do.
Tiger-striped long wing butterfly. This was at the Chicago Botanical Garden.
How beautiful that is.
So
Yeah, yes.
colorful.
And this was from Daniel Code, and he had mentioned last week that he was searching for the sun, and the sun found him early in the morning while he was meandering along the shoreline of Lake Michigan at North Point Marina just after 6 a.m. And of course, if you notice up in the right-hand corner there, to the right of the sun, he said his girlfriend was also monitoring the situation. So pretty
Almost
cool.
looks like just a little squiggly line there.
It does, but that's his girlfriend. He always
love
has a
seeing
girlfriend.
Your weather pictures.
Yeah, send them in to WGNTV.com/theforecasters.
And we got a lot more coming up. We'll be right back.
Yes, 7-day forecast included.
Okay, here's our 7-day forecast. Big improvements from last week.
Oh, yes.
Big improvements.
Big time.
Tomorrow we're going to see more humid conditions, a little warmth, a little humidity building in.
Yep.
Some sunshine in the morning.
Yeah.
And then by the afternoon and evening, potential of a few showers and thunderstorms, possibility of some marginally strong thunderstorms in there, and some heavier rainfall. Temperatures on Wednesday, we're back into the low 80s. Maybe a few showers early in the day. We're kind of keeping that as a maybe right now.
As a maybe, but most of us will be dry, and we'll stay dry on a Thursday, and then bring a very slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm
Don't cancel any plans.
late Friday, Saturday. But again, these are very small chances, and again, we're not expecting anything like last week with the torrential downpours that impacted parts of our area. And then we go into a gorgeous, comfortable stretch of weather for this time of the year.
So for the weekend too.
Yeah, so a little free AC from Mother Nature.
Recover from last weekend.
Yeah,
I
not
think
bad.
that was pretty droll.
Yes, it was. So enjoy that. Yeah, no dog days of August this year, Alyssa. Isn't that amazing? I mean, we've had the humidity. We've not had the heat. No 90-degree days, and doesn't look like we're going to see one before the end of the month, which is pretty rare. We'll talk about how rare that is in future shows as we get closer to the end of the month, but it's pretty rare.
I want to talk about this poll.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so towards the top of the show, we asked our viewers if they maintain flood insurance, and I am surprised that 100% of the respondents say no, they do not have
Isn't that something?
flood insurance. So I hope that means that you're confident that you don't need it.
Yeah.
And because otherwise that could be pretty devastating, you guys.
Okay, so yeah, we're saying no, and I should probably get it.
40% of them.
40%.
Right.
So is that, you know what, I almost want people to write in.
Maybe this was the
Can you
reminder.
can you write in and explain your decision, please, to Alyssa Donovan at WGN-TV? Because I'm curious. No, and I should probably get it. Is that because you live next to a river that's been flooding this year, and you haven't seen it last year?
Mm-hmm.
What is your reasoning? Why do you think you might need it?
Right. No, that's inquiring minds. We do want to know.
Follow-up questions.
We do, yes, for sure.
Write us in.
Yeah, do it.
We'd love to know.
Hey, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Forecasters. A big one coming up this week. We'll talk about that. The sports office is next. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Have a good night, everyone.